Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today we are going to talk about holiday pay. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about holiday pay, right? It seems kind of a weird thing to talk about for a leadership-oriented podcast. Certainly isn't that handled by the federal government? Isn't that mandated by states and the feds of what you can or cannot pay for free time for your employees, especially if you're in the hiring traditional W-2 employees, hourly employees, salary employees, whatever that is, outside of contractors? And the answer is yes. It is a little bit outside of the scope, tiny little bit, at least in the form of that topic, holiday pay. Because honestly, whether or not and how you handle this in your organization doesn't matter too much as far as what it reflects on you as the leader of that organization, because again, it is federally mandated, right? If you don't pay, if you've got traditional hourly W-2 employees and you don't pay them holiday pay, you're breaking the law. It's just, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the the employee, I'm forgetting the name of the organization, Department of Labor, or whoever in your state that's responsible for those types of things, when your employees make a complaint to them, we'll get that handled pretty quickly. What I wanted to discuss is the other end of this. So Liz and I, my wife, my fantastic, incomparable, beautiful wife Liz and I were at a workshop training seminar this past weekend with a bunch of other business owners, and they were all in there because we were learning about hiring and firing and all kinds of things, kind of HR related with that. And something came up. We were talking about incentives, like what are things that businesses put in place to incentivize employees, right? And specifically, we were talking about during the application process and the hiring process, like what can you use to attract the right employees to you? And this one gentleman, there were a bunch of different ideas going on, like, oh, we offer gym memberships, or we pay for gym memberships, or whatever, right? Your vacation package, your level of your insurance that you offer, all those types of different things, 401k matching, blah, blah, blah. We're familiar with those for the most part. But this guy said something that I hadn't heard before, either that I had experienced or even heard out just in the marketplace in general with businesses. And I'm going, okay, am I like that out of touch that I'm not familiar with this? Is this a commonplace offering for a business to do? And he had mentioned, and I'm trying to remember how he said it exactly, but it was basically, he started out with, well, we're a very diverse company. We believe in diversity, which, okay. I have my own opinions on diversity, right? So there's a difference between having multiple different aspects of talent available to draw on and different experiences versus just having different skin tones in your office and calling yourself diverse, right? So I'll leave it at that. We can talk about that at length down the road as we both come a little more familiar with each other. But so he leads us off with, well, we are a very diverse company and we value diversity. Cool. And he says, so we offer, in addition to the normal federal paid holidays, right? Labor Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July, all those types of things. I should have looked this up, like how many exactly paid federal holidays there are. Anyway, he says, but then in addition to that, we offer paid holidays for, he said, for Juneteenth and for, I think he said, and for Kwanzaa. And he said like one or two others. So it was essentially like 3 or 4 additional paid holidays that he said that they offer. And it immediately struck me as, okay, that's kind of weird. Isn't that kind of strange as a business to say, we're going to provide, so let's just call it a baseline 2 weeks of vacation per year, right? So let's just use that as a baseline. But instead of those 10 days of vacation, we're going to give you 14 actual working days of vacation because we value diversity so much. We want you to be able to take Juneteenth off, or we want you to be able to take a day or two off for Kwanzaa if that's what you celebrate, or we want you to take something else off. But what struck me about this is, again, this is all in the name of quote unquote diversity, is one, did you have and we didn't have time to discuss this, and I didn't seek him out to kind of qualify this more because we obviously moved on to other things. But did you have somebody come to you as part of your organization and saying, it's not fair that you're paying off for Christmas? I don't even celebrate Christmas. I celebrate Juneteenth. Okay. How come you don't give me Juneteenth off? And how come as a business owner, where your priority, your chief kind of allegiance should be to the business? And that means a lot of things, right? That means financially. That means how you hire and fire people, the culture that you're building, right? That at some point you have to be more concerned about the business than the individual. Okay, so there's a balance to that, and there's levels of concern for that. But why on earth, as a business owner, and certainly I'm willing to not debate this, but I'm willing to entertain other points of views on this. Why, as a business owner, would you open yourself up to that? Versus going, I completely respect that you want to celebrate Juneteenth. Unfortunately, the federal government has dictated that right? These are the holidays that are federal holidays. And I wish that we were making so much money that I could just give you, that additional day off and pay you a full day's wages for you sitting at home celebrating Juneteenth, And I hope I'm not coming across too callous in this. I hope you understand the point of view that I'm trying to bring up, because I'm trying to bring it up from the sense of the business owner and your responsibility to your people. So first of all, ask yourself, did people actually come to you and complain about this? Like, I celebrate Kwanzaa, not Thanksgiving. I don't know what people that celebrate Kwanzaa, what they do or don't celebrate. It's kind of doesn't really matter. As you'll see here, as I get to my point. Are people complaining about it? Two, if they are complaining about it, I'm trying to think of another word, but what difference does it make that they're complaining about it? What if I, as Kale Houser, acolyte, celebrate October 2nd, right? Or let's just say my birthday. Like, to me, that is a holy day. That's the day I was born. My birthday, I should have off every year. It's very personal to me and my family. My mom celebrates it every year with me. I celebrate it. It's pretty much the most important day of the year as far as I'm concerned. How come you, Mr. Employer, that's my boss, are not giving me a full day's paid wages to go off and celebrate what is to me the most important day of the year? Whatever the case of the federal government is saying is or is not. Do you see what I'm saying here? You are opening yourself up by saying, hey, here's your 10 days baseline vacation. Use however you want. If you want to go camping up in the woods, or you want to take your cruise out to the Bahamas, or travel Europe, or just sit at home and do nothing and play video games for a week, those are literally do whatever you want. That's part of our incentive package for you working here, right? But no, you go, hey, we're giving you Juneteenth day, and whatever day that is, right? No, we're giving you these 3 days as part of Kwanzaa off, or we're giving you, X, Y, and Z, and you're dictating what days they are. But then there's some obvious questions. Well, what about Muslims, right, that want to celebrate Eid? What about Buddhists? What about Hindus? What about pick your anything that want to celebrate that religious holiday or that special event in their culture? And who are you to decide what, in the name of quote-unquote diversity, you're going to choose to honor financially, because that's all it is. You're just honoring it financially by giving them the day off and paying them a full day's wages. And I think while your heart may be pure in your intent to honor that, you as a business owner are opening yourselves up to such a can of worms that your answer should be nope. And instead, let me offer you a solution, right? Because I don't want to just gripe and complain about things. But this was just such a fascinating comment that he made that really got my wheels spinning about, he's essentially, what holidays are you going to subsidize, okay, financially as the business owner, right? The federal government has dictated you will subsidize Memorial Day and 4th of July, right? Because those are important to our culture as Americans. They're important to our community and our sense of patriotism, all those types of things, right? And we've chosen those days based on the significant importance to the large majority of our culture and our citizenry. Now, certainly, as those expand and that culture changes and the demographics of our communities change, right? we will come to a point where we will have additional holidays based on something. But theoretically, it's not taken lightly, and it's done with a purpose and a reason. My solution, alternatively, is that you, business owner, leader that really values diversity, and you want to honor somebody that wants to take Juneteenth off for Kwanzaa, and I'm sorry I'm using only those two examples. There are others, or Eid, whatever that is. I'm not real familiar with the Hindu culture to know what are their significant spiritual holidays or anything of that nature. Why instead say, you know what, we here at Kale Houser Industries recognize that we employ people from a wide range of backgrounds, both culturally, religiously, all those, nationally, whatever that is for you, right? Cinco de Mayo is another perfect example, right? Day of the Dead, all those things that are important to those cultures where they come from in those countries. And they import them here just as part of their culture. No big deal. But we value that. Each one of you, we don't all celebrate the same holidays. We don't all do that. While it's great that the federal government has said we get to take time off at Christmas and Thanksgiving to celebrate those traditional, well, not so much Christmas, but like Thanksgiving and Memorial Day and Labor Day to celebrate those traditional American holidays, quote unquote American holidays, we recognize that you, Sally, you, whoever, have different priorities and different importances. So as part of that and recognizing that, we're providing these extra 4 days, these extra 5 days, right? The number doesn't matter. This extra 2 days, this extra 3 weeks, it doesn't matter. For you to use as part of, in addition to your normal vacation, but for you to use specifically set aside for whatever is important to you culturally, family, religiously, blah, 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 blah. And that would be a way to now, if you really do honor diversity and inclusion and all those types of keywords, right, that are prevalent in the marketplace right now, you are opening it up to everybody. You're not being discriminatory to only people that celebrate Juneteenth or only people that celebrate Kwanzaa, and vice versa for different holidays. You've now just said, you know what, because we value these things that we say we do, diversity, inclusion, blah, 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 here's these extra items that you can use to celebrate those things as fits you. But that's not what this gentleman had did, right? That's not what this organization that he was in charge of and as the business owner did. And I'm just saying you're playing with fire at this point. You've opened the door for, I don't know if discrimination is the right word, but certainly discontent with again, if you are hiring based on diversity, eventually you're going to want a Muslim on your team. Eventually you're going to want a Hindu on your team or a Buddhist or Shinto or whatever, right? Somebody from Venezuela, blah, 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 blah. Every culture on the planet, that's how you achieve diversity, right? And you just can't please them all with these these specific ways to adjust that. So I would highly encourage you, if you are a business owner and you're going through your incentive package, you're going through why people would want to work with you. Certainly a lot of companies, advertise, come work for us because we are a diverse organization. All right, cool. Certainly has some benefits, some drawbacks, whatever the case may be, different by industries. But certainly, and this would be my advice to you. If you had paid me $100,000 and you were doing this would be my not number one, but this would be a high priority on my list of advice to you as a consultant to say, you need to pull that policy right now. Awesome. Take those same 4 days that you're saying for Kwanzaa or blah, 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 whatever that is, and just say these are an additional 4 days for personal religious celebrations or personal holidays, right? So, we do a baseline of these 10 days, and now we're going to add these 4 as for working for us, and you can go up from there. Don't set yourself up for litigation. Don't set yourself up for discontent when half your office takes off Juneteenth, to go celebrate that, and then the other half has to come in and they don't get that holiday, right? And there's certainly something different if you're just saying we're shutting down. Boom, everybody, thanks for coming into work. That's the case. That's certainly different. If you as a company or an organization shut down for that time, whatever that is, that holiday that you're saying. But again, you're going to get somebody, if you're valuing diversity, if you're valuing inclusion, you're going to get somebody that says, well, hey, wait a minute. We literally shut down the office for Kwanzaa. Like, what? You're going to get somebody that says legitimately, if you value diversity, you're going to get somebody that says, well, wait a minute, you just shut down the office, thanks for the free time off for Kwanzaa or whatever the case is, but I'm Chinese. I celebrate the Chinese New Year. Like, how come we don't shut down for that? That's a super important holiday to me and my family and my culture, whatever that case may be. And you're just opening yourself up for that line of thinking, that line of attack, especially as you and that's really kind of the catch-22 of diversity, right? When we advertise this kind of keyword of diversity and inclusion, of the intent may be pure. The intent may be, yep, we want everyone to feel welcome here. But the reality is, and this is kind of why we have countries and different cultures, is you cannot accommodate everybody. It is impossible. You cannot accommodate everybody. It is impossible. Even within the United States, you couldn't accommodate everybody and all the different religious sects. And, now without even taking into account kind of the fringe, of like, I'm a Satanist or I'm a witch, whatever that is, you cannot accommodate everybody. And when you start as a business owner, as a leader, when you start attempting to, by accommodating 1 or 2 over here or 3 or 4 over here, it's a slippery slope that is very difficult to undo once you've opened that door, that little Pandora's box. The federal government is kind of different, right? Because they've said these are the cultural things that we have agreed to, we voted on, we've put into our laws as being Americans, just like Canadians have. They've got Boxing Day, just like Australians have, with their Independence Days, all those types of things that are important to that country. But as you as a business owner, if you start opening yourself up to that, you're in for a world of hurt. My opinion, take it for what it's worth. You are certainly welcome to debate me. If you think I am totally off base and I'm just a tyrant or whatever that you may be, word you may be using to describe me and my thought process on this, I would love to discuss it. Leave a comment. Let me know. Shoot me an email, kale@kalehouserleadership.com. I would actually love to have you on as a guest, and we can certainly discuss this, real time on a future podcast. All right, everybody. I hope that was kind of thought-provoking. It got you thinking. If you are somebody that has this sort of policy in place, man, I highly encourage you to switch it to a, blanket. Here's extra days off to do with as you will. They're kind of designed for whatever you celebrate culturally, spiritually, whatever that is in your workplace. Have a fantastic afternoon, no matter where you're at in the world. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.